Have you ever actually asked yourself what it is you're hoping to get by awakening? When I honestly asked myself that question, I was actually kind of surprised by the answer because although I definitely do want to know myself as I really am in truth, and I do want reunion with all that is, right underneath that, what I was really hoping to get um, is peace from the mean things that my own thinking mind is always saying about me and others. I wanted to be happy and comfortable in my own skin without that constant critique going on. I want to be content in the moment with what I am experiencing instead of the incessant need to constantly be looking for that next thing that is supposedly going to bring me peace and contentment, and wanting to know myself as being loved from within, regardless of what's going on the outside. Um, And for some reason, I thought that enlightenment is where this stuff comes from. But it really does not. But the good news, of course, is that all of these things can come a different way and without all of the baggage of the idea of chasing enlightenment lifetime after lifetime, and maybe someday it will happen to you, but there isn't much you can do about that until it does. That is true, I guess, but that is not necessarily true of the states that are actually the thing that is desired. So, if you are anything like me, anyway, those are the things you would really like to have the confidence to stand as yourself, no matter what's going on around you, and not take it personally when other people's thinking minds say mean things about you, etc., etc. So the funny thing about all this, if you look at the common denominator of all the things that are wanted that seem like impossible states, they all have to do with being at odds with your own mind, with your own inner self. And that is something that is completely within your own power to remedy. Now, at some point in the past, I don't know when, all of us have been completely daunted and overwhelmed by the things of this world, the things not of this world, the knowledge of the immensity of what we are in truth. All of that feels like way too much for us to handle or grasp or think about. So what do? We hand it over to that tiny, even more ill-equipped part of the self. Some people call it the inner child. That feels a little bit saccharine to me, although I have to say that when I have touched into this aspect of the self, it really does feel like it's about 6 years old. It does not operate with the wisdom or the knowing or the intellect that you, the conscious self, operates with. So it's even less equipped than you are. And it's like you've handed it a country to run and go, here, you figure out what to do about the death penalty and taxes for corporations, and I'll see you later. And it goes, where are you going to be? And you go, oh, well, I'm going to go smoke pot and watch cartoons over at the neighbor's house because I can't deal with all this. But here, you do it. So naturally, that aspect of the self is pissed. It's not so happy with you or me. And that's where all the screaming and the critique originates. And there are spiritual practices that encourage us to hate that aspect of the self, which, like, really, what good is seriously going to come of that? Certainly not enlightenment is going to come of that, because you can't hate anything and expect to experience that state of oneness. Nevertheless, what do you think is going to come of attacking your own self? That it's inseparable from you until it isn't. So it just doesn't make any sense to behave that way. And really, what we're feeling undoubtedly is the guilt of having been the grown-up who abandoned the child to go run the country while we go off and watch cartoons. It seems so obvious to me now. Of course, it didn't for all those decades or millennia that I've been doing this. Prior, it seemed to make perfect sense to shut off that part of myself and never look at it and do the la 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 thing. So now I'm actively engaged in engaging with it and loving it and apologizing to it, really, and choosing not to abandon it no matter what it thinks or says or does. Because when that part of the self is rejoined with this part of the self, you have the union that you're craving, and it opens the gateway to the reunion, capital R, that we say we want. So there are lots of very, very simple ways to be the grown-up and make contact and be there for that small inner self, and lots of ways to be in a strong and safe and powerful life condition while doing that. And these are the things that I'm referring to as being quick and easy. So it's too much to go into in a short video like this one. But that's the direction I'm heading, and so far it is incredibly powerful, and that's it.